Hello guys and welcome. Today I just wanna make a quick video talking about math. Now in this video I wanna talk about the 3 stages of understanding math. And don't get me wrong guys, I'm not the best mathematicians in the world. Even in elementary school I didn't really like math, but I always had like a character to actually understand things from outside perspective, outside the box, and I always knew how to simplify things. Okay, in my opinion, you only really truly understand things once you take a step back and see it from outside perspective, outside of the box. And in order to do that, you need to have a specific character like Sagittarius, of Sagittarius rising aka ascending. Some guys say in astrology that your rising aka ascending, your actual character, is even more important than your main sign, your sun sign. Now Sagittarius are very known to, live on the edge of light and darkness. They're like a living duality. They're very innovative and they know how to get to the point. But we also have self-destructive tendencies and so on and so on. I also have Gemini Moon, which allows me to see the true duality of things, to connect things, and also have Libra Sun, so I know, I always try to understand things and others. I feel like understanding others is the hardest thing in this world. But, now let's get to the point of the video. Now there are in my opinion, there are 3 stages of understanding math. The first stage is pretty much like elementary stage, elementary school, they teach you how math is the best and most technical explanations of the universe, of everything we have around us, how math is used a lot in daily environment, in the everyday stuff, so this is in my opinion pretty much the basic math. Okay, the first stage of understanding math. Now the second stage is realizing that math is a good average, that numbers are a good average, but they also tend to miss a lot. Now you can actually learn this lesson, especially if you play like some form of competitive games, when you realize that at the end of the game you have a leaderboard with all these different stats, but usually the most important stats are not really displayed, right? You have kill death rate here, you have assists, you have average player damage, you have but all the things that actually matter, how many times you juke, the frequency, your game style, how many times you juke, how many times you bait out enemy abilities, what is your play style, do you tend to sacrifice yourself for the team, do you play aggressively, defensively, things like that. And also now we also need to talk about probability, right? I think this is like a big problem with probability. It's a good average, but it also tends to miss a lot. For example, if you have 99% probability that you're gonna get, a positive result, you can still get 5 zeros in a row. And if you have 1% probability to get positive result, you can still get 5 negatives in a row. So in my opinion, probability is a bit of a bullshit. Like I said, math is a really good way. It's a really good like average indicator how someone does, but it also tends to miss a lot. And also stats can be skewed, they can be manipulated in a way that we perceive that our thoughts and right seems to be what we want it to be. And now we get to the third stage of understanding that math is pretty much bullshit. Okay, the third stage of understanding math and numbers is pretty much realizing that even 90% of doctors and mathematicians and psychologists have no idea what are they talking about. In fact, you realize that pretty much everything we do, we just put things into boxes so we can pretend we understand them, or so we can sell you medication, right? It's a huge business, and you have all these big companies controlling the space, and they control the numbers, and they control the stats. They make it so that they got the results they want. So pretty much the third stage of understanding math is that, yes, we have P, for example, we have sequences, we have universal sequences, we have numbers that appear 1, 3, 7, 12. We have Vini Vidi Vici, how to speak like a leader, really good video. You have, you have these numbers repeating in most of the religions. 1, which represents self. You have 3 that represents, the importance of speaking. And there was also in ancient Greece, there was a rhetorical, I think of something like that. It was called the language of the gods, how to speak in 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, right? And it also represents Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit in religions. You have 7, which represents the 7 major glands, like the 7 major chakras in our body. One day you realize that the biggest treasure we have is our body. And you also have 12, which represents 12 universal zodiac characters, 12 zodiac signs, which is basically all the characters in this world, and everybody has multiple of them. In fact, each planet you have in different zodiac sign, and then each planet on its own has its own zodiac cycle. For example, most people don't know that Earth has 2 cycles, not just yearly cycle that go from January to December, but also zodiac cycle that actually starts on March with Aries, first of 12 zodiacs, and ends with Pisces, last of 12 zodiacs. And these are actually just characters. People don't realize that astrology is not just knowledge of the stars and planets, but also the knowledge of characters. And this is what psychology and astrology it's all about. It's basically a knowledge of characters. And this is, I think, in my opinion, the third level of understanding math and numbers, is that you realize that most of us, we just like to put things into our boxes so we can easily understand them, but we don't really understand them. In my opinion, understanding others and things around us is the hardest thing in this world. And you really need a certain type of character, a certain type of empathy and experience and traumas to actually see this. You need to have certain experiences. And math makes sense. It actually, math is so complex. Like, I'm actually a beginner when it comes to math. I just don't understand it. I don't understand, but I know how to simplify it, and I know how to see from the outside of perspective. I'm not good at one thing, I'm good at multiple things, a little bit about everything, That's why I feel like my big mathematicians or whatever are not really even like the most knowledgeable people about the universe, because math is pretty much just a human concept, I mean, yes, we have math in nature. You have, the Pythagorean you have Pythagorean theorems, and you have the golden spiral, which is the numbers, how the universe made numbers. You have 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5. You add 2 previous together and make another one. You can actually see math in everything, and I'm not saying math is pointless or whatever. It's actually very beautiful once you actually see the connections of numbers, and but they also tend to miss a lot. Math will never explain characters, it will never explain zodiacs, it will never explain our mind, and all the different dimensions we have, physical dimension, energy, And yeah, people always say that numbers or atoms are the smallest thing of the universe, but it is actually the energy. But most people don't really know that, because they don't really ever experienced, they never really saw energy moving, the frequencies, the probability, you can actually learn frequencies like in DPS, for example, the DPS in World of Warcraft. You have DPS rotations, and you realize it's actually just spiral that goes up and down, and it has its, you know, peaks and downs, and that's what the frequency really is. How is it frequency, or is it not sure how to say it, but you know, depends on your rotation. You have different kind of curve, you know, and it is time, it is length, it is frequency, is the value, it's many things, you know. Or even if you just simply throw a rock into the cave, you know, and you ask yourself, how long does it take to get there? How long does that sound take to hear it from the rock hitting the ground, you know? There's so many different things you need to take into consideration. It's not simple at all, you know? So, but I still feel like that math is pretty much just humans trying to put things into a boxes and pretend we understand them, but we really don't. We really don't. And that's like a duality of life. You really need to have certain type of combination of certain types of characters, like Gemini Moon. You have Sagittarius rising innovative character. You need to have strong will, like a Leo Mars, Leo Venus. You need to have a strong mind, like Scorpio Venus, Scorpio Mercury, you know. You need to have a certain combination of characters, and that's why I feel like that is what actually separates us. It is the characters. Each of us has different combination of characters, and numbers will never really explain that. I mean, you can actually like put characters into boxes. You can like number them, and then try to find the correct combination, the correct sequence for a third-person psych character. And but I don't really feel like there's not many people in the world who actually understand Zodiac's characters and AI at such level. You know, I feel that's why I think it's very dangerous that guy like me, who's actually understand all these things, that I would actually work on AI, because I could actually make it so smart to even understand Zodiacs and characters and adopting and so on. But most people who do this AI, I think they don't really have that understanding. And that's a good thing, because these guys will make way too powerful AI, you know. And I feel like AI will never be able to replace human mind and human characters, you know. And you really need to have a character for this, in my opinion. I feel like people that work at psychology, or people that work at job recruiting, they should really understand psychology and astrology, because it allows you to understand people characters, and not everybody has the right character for the job, you know. You need to have like somebody who's good at neutralizing situations. You need to have somebody who is innovative, who gets maybe creative when they feel good. And these are all the all the zodiacs are acting differently. For example, what you see in horoscope, a sun sign is basically your main sign, and basically, okay, I'm gonna like simplify astrology for you guys. Each planet you have in different zodiacs when you were born, and then on top of that, each planet has its own zodiac cycle, right? So the most important thing to know here is that the sun sign is basically the sun sign is how you express yourself and how the world sees you, and this is how you act through the day most of the time. The moon sign is basically your heart, your ground, how you act when you feel comfortable with the environment or with yourself. So for example, I'm Gemini moon. I get very creative, I get playful, you know. Then we also have rising, aka ascending, which is basically your actual character. I have Sagittarius rising. That's what makes me so innovative, self-destructive, problems with smoking, very restless to the point I'm destroying my body, a living duality. And I also forget to say I'm Libra Sun. You know, my main horoscope or zodiac is Libra Sun. I strive for balance. I strive for try to bring positivity to wherever, to, you know, bring a balance. But I really have trouble with balancing myself. Then we also have Mars, which represents your anger, your actions, which is basically, you know, when you are angry, when your actions. I have Leo Mars, you know, We have Venus is how you love. I have Leo Venus again. Basically, that's also one of my issues I have. I tend to give too much positive energy out of my body to other people, and then I don't get anything in return, and I can destroy myself. And if you wanna, there is no such thing as God, but you can find power of God in people. And if you wanna find power of God, search for people that have Mars and Venus in Leo, for example, like me. Right? These people have the power of God in themselves. You have. And then you also have Mercury, which basically represents your mind and communication. I have Scorpio Mercury. I always hated Scorpio, but now I tend to, realize that Scorpio actually protect me and my mind. And Scorpio people are like living libraries. They are very smart people, very, very smart people. And this is also how you learn. Like, if you want to learn how some child needs to learn, just check their Mercury. And Google like Mercury Virgo, Mercury Leo, and you can learn about how a child can actually learn how his mind works. So yeah, I think this is it, guys. Like, this is my video about the math and the numbers and the astrology. Everything is connected. I'm getting tired now, so I need to take some rest. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, just let me know. And I hope I see you in the next one. Peace. Or maybe not. We'll see.